everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I'm back! Woohoo! Today I'm going to be doing my birthday SAL recap. My birthday SAL ended 2 weeks ago tomorrow. No. Yes, 2 weeks ago tomorrow it was over. I had promised on coming back on the 26th to do this recap, but that just never happened. And then, let me see. Last week I just didn't feel like filming at all, so I didn't. So yeah, I mean it's just kind of where we are. And then yesterday I was gonna film, but there are reasons, and I'll talk about those reasons in a different video. This is gonna be relatively short because I'm just gonna go through the recap of my birthday SAL. I'm just going to talk about the projects that I worked on. So any Q&A, I'm going to save for later. Any other whips, any other projects that I've worked on since I last saw you, that'll be in a different video. Knitting and books, definitely in a different video. My hope is to get caught up on this backlog of videos that I've got this week. Maybe it might take me a week and a half to do, because I've got a pile of things that I want to film. But we're going to start here with my birthday SAL, and so I will save relevant topics for related videos. So real quickly, today is Tuesday, May 9th, 2017, and yeah, so we're just going to kind of go through some things, talk about the tasks and how they related, and then I'll show you what I worked on. I had these grand plans of vlogging, and I wanted to include pictures from other people's projects for everybody else that participated in the birthday SAL in my video. I had grand plans for this, and they just all fell by the wayside. And so I'm sorry for that, but I just want to give a big shout out to everybody that participated. Even if you got your projects in late, that's totally cool. I was late. Like, my birth was late. So like it's totally cool thing. And so I just want to thank everybody for participating and for stitching if and when you could, and just the coolest. It was so much fun. Okay, so birthday SAL. It started on April 15th, and it ran for 12 days. This is just kind of like a semi-recap, like it was like a daily rotation. There were tasks for each day, somehow, some way relating to me. And so on the 15th, I am going to pull up the list here. Bear with me for just a moment. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so on the 15th, the task was my first 29th birthday, stitch on your first or your oldest work in progress. And so this is kind of self-explanatory. Turning 29, it was my first 29th birthday. Now, I talked about this previously, but I wasn't able to stitch on the 15th for a couple of reasons, one of which, and most major, is that I left my project at home. And we were out of town for the 3.2 run in Remembrance. That's the other reason. Because we were doing the 3.2, there wasn't stitching time, so even if I had my project, stitching was going to be minimal. But it didn't matter because I didn't have it anyway. So what I ended up doing is that when we got home the next day, I put in some time on this project. So my oldest whip is the Rose Fairy by Joan Elliott. And so that's that. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count Lugana in Confetti by Picture This Plus. And I don't think I'm gonna do any this is what it looked like before. I'm just gonna tell you guys at least where I know. And this I know I only worked on for a very short amount of time, but I basically focused on these purple tendrils over here. And so I got those done. And I just worked on this a little bit, like I said, on Sunday the 16th, just to put in a little bit of work for the birthday SAL. So that was the 15th, technically. Now, as I said, we were doing the 3.2 run in Remembrance at Virginia Tech, and so I have some footage and some pictures from that, and so I'm going to go ahead and insert that here, just so that you can sort of see the event and just some parts of campus and some of my favorite spots. So I'm going to insert that here.
Wow, they redid the steps real good here.
They did.
Because the other steps were awful.
They were.
They need to tear down the area.
That?
Yeah.
Officially the ugliest building on campus. That one and that one don't fit.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys. That's where we got married. On the 16th, Sunday the 16th, that was Sunday, April 16th, it was the official 10-year anniversary of the shooting at Virginia Tech. The task for that day was Jessie Marie Does Stuff / Jessie Marie and Danny Sites. So we were to stitch on something related to the letter J, M, D, or S. And originally I had picked Shades of Wine by Northern Expressions Needlework because that is shades, starts with an S. It's also half of my wedding sampler. But I chose to work on something different. And so what I started was my Stargazer. And so this is Stargazer by Mirabilia. And what I'm going to show you is 2 days progress because this came up for another day. But I'll just go ahead and show you that real quickly. This I am stitching on a 32 count Belfast in Florin by Chromatic Alchemy. And I am doing a Virginia Tech inspired conversion. And I got a very, very meager start. but you can see stuff. So basically everything about this, with the exception of skin tones, is going to be changed. So I've got her hair done. The hair is done. And then I started work on the ribbon. The ribbon I'm having some questions about because I wanted the ribbon to be a black ribbon because the Remembrance ribbon is, it's a black ribbon for us. And so the colors that I chose, they're a little, I mean, it's meant to be reflecting, it's meant to be showing changes in light. So I'm okay with some light spots. I'm just concerned that it's a little bit too light. But I need to finish it before I make that determination, which is kind of unfortunate when you're doing, you know, some design or reworking, that you have to see the whole thing before you tear it out. Anyway, and then for one of the other days I got started on her shoulder. So there's that. I just thought that it was the best day for me to start this for the anniversary, to start on my remembrance, and so that's what I did. So there's that. Now JMDS. I thought that I might, you know, can I talk you guys through why I came up with these tasks? So when I came up with my channel, keep in mind, I started my channel in 2013. And at the time, Danny and I were just dating. We had just been dating for a couple years. I mean, yeah, I thought that our path was leading towards marriage, but I didn't know for sure at that time. We were literally just boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, so when I created my channel name, I had no idea. Like, it never even dawned on me to plan out JMDS and to sort of encapsulate our initials as well as the initials for my channel name. It just worked out that way because, like I told you guys, my channel name was created because of Jessie Marie Reads and Jessie Marie Stitches. So that's just kind of how that came to be. It just happened to work out really great. JMDS means both, so I thought that was cool. Okay, next, on April 17th, stitch on something you were enabled to start or to purchase. And the reason that I chose this task is that I'm often credited with enabling, and I say credited, but like whatever, enabling people with the Cricket Collection monthly series and the Jane Netley Mayhew cross stitch safari book. Now, I was not the starter of that. That it definitely goes to Carolyn Mazzio, but some other people have seen it because of me, and so they have generated some interest. I think my elephants, really. It's not me. Anyway, so enabled. And so I decided to go with the first thing that I was ever enabled to purchase, and that is the Autumn Fairy by Chatelaine. And I am stitching this on a 32 count Belfast in Mellow by Picture This Plus. And the progress that I got done on this day, to be honest, practically nothing. So what you would be able to tell the difference is just this little bit up in here. Just a little bit of that red, which is a Gloriana Florimel in copper, I think, which is a beautiful, beautiful silk. And I think that I might have done a little bit in this bit here, but like no progress was made effectively. I didn't feel like working on it that day. I don't know exactly why. I think part of it might have had to do with just some lasting effects from the weekend. I told you guys it was an emotional weekend, so there's that. Okay. Next, on April 18th, favorite colors. So my favorite colors are maroon and orange and purple. And maroon, I even stretched it out so far as to say red, just in case you didn't have anything specifically purpley red or maroon. that I also worked on the Stargazer. You saw that I worked on her shoulder a little bit, which is the darkest shade of maroon in that project for me. If I'm going to work on something that is my favorite colors, it might as well be a Virginia Tech inspired. So that's what I worked on for that. Purple has been a long time favorite color of mine. Maroon and orange, obviously. Okay, April 19th, Bulldog. Stitch on something with an animal, bonus points that don't matter if it's a bulldog. And this is obviously for my trusty, not so trusty sidekick Thor, who is snoring. And so we'll see if he makes an appearance, but I doubt it. When it's chilly, we're not like turning on the heat or AC. We're trying to like run as little electricity as possible while it's still cool. So it's kind of chilly in my house. He just sleeps through being cold. So for this day, I started Dog Lessons for People by Lizzie Kate. And when I spoke to you guys last, I thought that I had most of the colors for this. Turns out I had absolutely zero, at least in stash. I might have them in other projects, but I didn't have anything. I kitted this up 90% from stash. There's just one color that I ordered. And the fabric that I am using for it is actually what came. So you guys know I got Stargazer, the As Charted kit, for Christmas from my in-laws. And this is the fabric that came with it, which is the called for, which is 28 count. Well, now I don't know if it's amber or toasted almond. It might be toasted almond because it's not very dark. It's pretty natural. It didn't have a tag or anything. So here's where I got to on that day. Let me fold this up because it is a witch-out linen, so it's stiff and see-through. Okay, so there's that. And this is just a mix of colors from stash. The only exception, the only one that I know is this red here. It's the Called For Liberty by Weeks Dye Works, but there's a whole mess of things, and I don't have them handy. But that's where I got to on that day. So there's that. Dog Lessons for People. And I'll get back to that, eventually at some point. Okay. Next, on April the 20th, Miss Congeniality, Stitch on Something Pretty. So this comes out of the fact that April 25th, which is my actual birthday, is mentioned in the movie Miss Congeniality. And when I was younger, I went through a phase where I wanted to watch everything with Sandra Bullock in it. Loved her. Still do. She's phenomenal. But it just so happened to be during this time when Miss Congeniality, the film, came out. And there is a scene in Miss Congeniality where they're asking Miss Rhode Island, they're asking her to describe her perfect date. And she says, I would have to say April 25th because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. So all you really need is a light jacket. And I got the biggest kick out of her mentioning my birthday on a movie with one of my favorite actresses. Like, just so good. Yeah. So along with everybody else on April 25th on my birthday, I always share the that clip. And I'll link it in the description box so that you can find it, so that you can see that clip because it's excellent. And so since that movie is about a pageant, a beauty pageant, I thought something pretty would suffice. And so I chose to work on my other active chatelaine, and that is the Bold Band Sampler number 3. And I am stitching this on a 28 count antique white cashel linen by Zweigart. And again, I didn't get a ton of progress on this at the time. I did finish out the black on this inner border, and I finished out the golden yellow. And then you can see I started to work in some of the pink on this side here. So a little bit of progress, but nothing really to write home about. The black I am substituting for Anchor Black. The reason, really, the true reason why I didn't get very far on this is that I don't have the kit for this. So I don't have the silks to do most of this. The kit for this is really reasonable. It's less than $40 for the silks and beads, but I just don't have it yet. So I was just doing the DMCs for now. So there's that. I love this antique white shell from Zweigart. It's just such a good fabric. Okay, oh, lost it. There we go. Okay, next, on April 21st, Taurus or Diamond. So stitch on something you find difficult, somehow related to the zodiac Taurus, which is an earth sign or a bull, or Diamond, which is one of the hardest substances known in the natural world. And so I chose something difficult because Tauruses, I tried to look up the correct way to say that, whether it was Tauri or Tauruses. It's conflicting. Anyway, generally pretty stubborn, bull-headed, and diamond, hard substance, so difficult, hard, etc. And so I chose to work on my Not Quite White work by Northern Expressions needlework. And this is on a 36 count Edinburgh linen in cream ivory, using the called for Dinky Dye silks for the autumn colors version. And I ended up working on this for a couple of days because I really wanted to get this section done. I was partway through that section when we last spoke, and I've got it all finished now. So I took some close-up pictures so that you can just see how tiny this is, and why I chose this project, because the stitches are so small and the fabric is so huge, which means that I have a ton to go on some tiny stitches. So I did finish this crossed lattice, and then I have two more blocks two more blocks about this size on this side to finish up clue 3. Way far behind. But that's okay. So I will insert those close-up pictures so that you can see them. I love this project. It was really, really good to be able to work on that again. So there's that. Okay, next. On April 22nd, the task was close to 30. Oh my goodness! Cue the panic. Stitch on something that's close to finishing. And so my original plan was to work on the Pumpkin Patch Farm Sampler by the Victoria Sampler, because I thought that I would be close to done on that by then. No, I haven't worked on it at all. And we were planning on being out of town that weekend for the Virginia Tech spring game. And I ended up getting a grand mal migraine on Friday. And it was the aura. I went blind in my left eye. Yeah. So I told you guys that we were expected to have a whole bunch of people at the house. Danny's brother and his family were coming, and they've got 3 little kids, and like it would have been too much, because not only did I have the bad migraine on Friday, but then I had the migraine hangover for the rest of the weekend. So that didn't happen. We didn't end up going down. Just stayed home and took it easy and just tried to feel better. So I had amended my plans for this particular day, for the 22nd, because the 22nd was supposed to be the day of the spring game. And so I thought, to simplify things, I'm going to take a Mill Hill kit that I'm close to done on, and I'll just work on that instead. So I picked the other project that I was focusing on for the month, and that was
the Scotland Santa from the Celtic Santas collection by Mill Hill. And I'm going to insert a preview here of what this looked like the last you saw it. Because I grossly underestimated the time that it would take to get this done. This took forever to finish. And I say that because I did finish it. But it took me like an extra week to finish it. Like, whatever I thought I was going to get done, no. I was delusional. So I did get a little bit done on that Saturday, but not a ton, like I said, because, excuse me, migraine hangover. But he is finished now, and not quite cut out. I had to trim this here so that I could reach over here, because the way that I stitch these is I hold it in my left hand, and then I use my right hand to stitch, which is totally backwards because I'm left-handed, but whatever. So I needed to trim so that I could reach over there. So anyway, he is all done. And that beard just about did me in. It's wrong, but I don't care. I'm dealing with it. He's got like a funny little mustache, like right there at his nose. There's like a knot that I had to do. So anyway, so there's the Scotland Santa that I did for that day. Okay, Sunday the 23rd. Stitch on something somehow related to the number 29 because I was turning 29. Okay, so what I ended up doing was I chose 2 projects, and these projects were Year of Whips project number 2 and Year of Whips project number 9. And I stitched on each of them for about 90 minutes. It might have been a little bit less than that, but nonetheless. So, 2 projects for 90 minutes, projects number 2 and 9. All of the 29. So the first one that I worked on was Electra by Nora Corbett. And I had most of the pumpkin done. I had this tendril. I had the moon done. So let me see. This is this the right linen? Gosh, it looks dark. This is 32 count milk chocolate linen by Witcholds. And again, I'm going to fold it since it's see-through. And so I got some pretty good progress. The tendrils under the pumpkin I needed to finish out. And then I came up over here and did the black in her hat. And there's even some of her hair there. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that progress. I only stitched on the one color for the whole time, just to continue working on the black. And this is another project where I'm substituting only the black for anchor black, just for better coverage. So there's that. Project number 9, Lizzie Kate's Jingles. And I was midway through this second one here, the Ho 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 Holiday. And this is on a 32 count natural linen, I think. Don't quote me. But here's where I am. So I got this block done. And not only do I have this block done, but I have it more done than I had even planned. I hadn't intended on stitching the white in the Ho Ho Ho. I intended on just letting the fabric shine through there, but I really like it better with the white, so I'm glad that I did that. And so I finished out the reindeer and this pile of snow that he's standing in, and yeah, I got that done. It really took almost no time at all. It was really, really quick. I'm still not feeling this project or my tangles for the Halloween, the Trick or Treat All Year Long SAL. So they're still hibernating for now, but I did get that block done. So that felt pretty good. So there's that. That was on the 23rd. Okay, on the 24th.
stitch on something bookish. So something related to a book or a story, or if you feel like it, make up a story. And there were some pretty excellent stories told for these projects, especially on the Facebook group. So I chose to work on, of course, The Reader by Joan Elliott, because this is one of my favorite whips and she's a reader. And this I am stitching on 28 count cashel in Gingerbread by Picture This Plus. And once again, I got some progress, but not a ton. Like, not near what I wanted. So before I had this little bit in here basically done, and so I filled in some of the purple down below, the purples and greens. But other than that, not a whole lot of progress. I don't know what's the matter with me. I think that what it is that with this project, I want like 3 or 4 days to sit down and just work on it solely. And these 1 days like make me sad because I only get a couple of hours with it and then I have to put it back, and so we shall see. I might be revitalizing my rotation a little bit so that some of my projects get some more time, but that's kind of still in planning, and that's for another time. So there's The Reader. Okay, April 25th, the big day, my birthday. I told you guys that I was planning on having a new start. For this, you could stitch on a new start, or you could work on your most recent project, or you could stitch on something birthday themed some kind of way. Maybe it was for somebody's birthday, or maybe it was, sorry, I gotta stretch out. Maybe it was something that you had started for your birthday. Maybe it was like a birthday card. Who knows? But I went with a new start. And I hadn't decided, when I told you guys about this, Sal, I hadn't decided on my new start. But I love what I started for my new start. So I had this birthday SAL, and it ended up bumping into a bunch of other stitchers' birthdays, including some floss tubers, and I felt kind of weird about that. Like, we're going to celebrate my birthday with this big birthday, and we're just going to steamroll over everybody else's birthday? Or in Colbin's case, her birthday's on the 27th. My SAL was ending on the 26th. Like, I just felt really kind of crummy about that. So I started something that kind of celebrates other people's birthdays. And just to try to not feel so, oh, look at me, it's my birthday and my birthday's more important. I don't ever feel like that. And so I absolutely love what I started. So this is April's Daisy. And it is by Cottage Garden Samplings. I had started May's Lily of the Valley for Stitch Mania last year, and I absolutely love this series. So I thought that this was perfect, and here's why this is perfect. Okay, so May's Lily of the Valley I started on 32 count Platinum Belfast by Zweigart. And do you know whose favorite fabric, who calls Platinum their favorite fabric? Hazy Annette, who also celebrates a birthday in April, so this was for Annette. There are daisies, which is Stitching May's favorite flower. So, happy birthday, Stitching May. Let me see. There's a bunny up there. Actually, there's a couple of bunnies. Yep, there's one up in that corner too. So happy birthday, Coleman, because we all know that Coleman loves bunnies. And one of Stephanie from Miss Oh So Crafty, one of her videos, I think it was actually on Easter Sunday, her son was wearing something about Chicks Dig Me, which is super adorable. There's little chickies on there, so there's that. Let me see what else. I substituted
almost every single one of the colors in this except for the DMCs. But all of the hand-dyed threads that it calls for, I pulled from Stash. So I am mixing things up like Garrett. So happy birthday, Coffee Stitcher, whose birthday is also at the end of April. If you have a birthday in April, then one of these stitches in here is for you. Because it's not just my birthday in April. As much as I would like to say that April is my birthday month, it's not the case. So anyway, so I started that for everybody's birthday in April. On my birthday, it was a big old birthday party. So there's that. And so, as I said, this is on 32 Belfast in Platinum. And I didn't get very far because I was filming my Mania plans. There were birthday celebrations. It was limited progress. So there's that so far. And I was going to start with the bunny, but I was going to stitch the bunny on Colbin's birthday. And then I realized that I don't know where my whisper thread is because I decided I was going to do it in whisper thread because I thought a fuzzy bunny, yeah. But I misplaced it. I don't know where it went. So I have to find that or order another card of it. Darn. So that I can stitch that bunny in there. But there's that. And I got a 13 by 18 piece. My other one is on a 13 by 18 piece, but I think I can get 2 on this one piece of fabric because you know how we are about series. I want to do this whole series. So I think that I can get another one on this piece. I can't on Maze Lily of the Valley because I stuck that right smack in the middle. But that's okay. So there's that. Okay. Next, on the 26th. The 26th was something related to family. And so we were to stitch on something somehow related to family, for family, about family, etc. And the reason that I chose this is there's 2 reasons. First of all, my mom's birthday is on the 26th. And I told this story in the Facebook group, and Mom, I hope you don't mind that I'm going to share it here as well. But the story goes that I'm way late, that I was way late. I was like due on April 1st, and I pulled the ultimate prank and came 24 days late, etc., etc. So finally, I'm like, all right, it's time to go. And my mom's in labor for like 20 some odd hours, an extraordinary amount of time. And the nurse comes into the room and they're like, we didn't know that your birthday was tomorrow. Do you want to hold out just one more day and have your daughter tomorrow so that you guys can have the same birthday? How cool would that be? And my mom, 20 some odd hours of labor already into this thing, goes, get her out of me. So, then I was born. And so her birthday is the day after mine. Also related to that, so I was born in 88. My mom, I'm going to age my mom here, but she was born in 68. And her mom, my grandma, was born in 1928. So we were all born on the 8s. And so when I turned 20, my mom turned 40, my grandma would have turned 80. And so I just think that that's really cool. And so on the discussion of family planning, I told Danny, listen, we need to have a girl in 2018 because it's tradition in my family to have a girl on the 8s. And next year just so happened to conveniently be an 8 year. So whatever you can do, we need to have a girl next year. So there's that. So I chose to work on my Elizabeth by Glendon Place. And because I told you guys Elizabeth was my grandma's name, this is sort of like a, whatever, it's a pretty flower. So there's that. And I have gotten into the habit of assigning needle minders to all of my projects moving forward here. And so I have my Flapper Girl on this. Why a Flapper Girl on Elizabeth? Well, she's pink. But also, my grandma was born in 1928.
in the 20s. 20s, Flapper Girl, it all kind of fits. So anyway, so there's that. And this got a few days of progress because I just kind of stuck with it for a few days. So I'll show you what I got done on the 26th, which wasn't a whole lot because I got together with my mom and we went out and had breakfast and tooled around on her birthday. So this is on 32 Belfast in Buttercup by Under the Sea Fabrics. This was a Mania start last year and it's going to come up in my Mania for this year. So yeah, I got a big chunk of progress done in a few days. But what I did on the 26th itself, I think all I did was this darker brown, petal outline in there, and maybe the green. Not a whole lot of progress was out for most of the day. But then I've finished out this petal in here. There are yellow stitches there. They blend in pretty well with the fabric color. And then I worked on some of the pink petals down here. Pretty much the top half without beads and Krennic is done. So yeah, making my way down. Making my way downtown. Okay, that's enough singing. So that was the last project that I worked on for my birthday, Sal. And like I said, thank you everybody so much for participating. My birthday Sal was so cool. I can't wait to do this every year because I just had so much fun. I'm still working through my backlog of videos from people's vlogs while they worked on this. I need to watch Pam and Stitching Joanne, countless others. There's so many. But thanks everybody so much for participating. It was such a blast. And so yeah, woohoo, recap, all done. I can put these projects away and get organized to do some sort of a whip update and to talk about knitting and books because there were major advancements in knitting and books as of late. Yeah, I got things and stuff to do. But that is it for this video. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.